Hi. So this episode starts out with a review of what's going on in the past episodes. And we review that Angelina has a bet with JWoww that Angelina promises she won't react in any way to Vinny's jabs, and if she doesn't react, she gets to push Jenny in the pool. Then we will also review that Zach said he wanted to teach the Jersey Shore gang how to wrestle. And so he has a professional ring all set up, and the guys go in to learn some wrestling moves. Vinny's Uncle Nino is chosen as the ring announcer. And of course, Uncle Nino has dementia and very hard to understand sometimes. So that's going to be interesting. Zach stands at 6 feet 4 inches. And of course, he's the professional wrestler who's going to be leading this escapade. Ronnie is paired with Zach in the ring, and Pauly D and Mike are paired together. So Zach is paired with Ronnie in the ring, and Pauly D is paired with Mike, the situation. And then Vinny comes out. He's also paired with Pauly D and Mike, the situation. And Vinny comes out with his rope, and he's doing rope tricks and jumping rope. It's chaos in the wrestling match. Zach pins Pauly. Zach flattens Vinny and then ties his legs up with his rope. Ronnie comes out and goes after Mike, the situation. This is a revenge fight from the Italy trip where Mike, the situation, banged his own head into a cement wall. And they're going at it with powers of strength. Then Zach comes in, flattens Mike, the situation, and Jenny sends in her son, Grayson, a little kid, and he saves the day, and he is proclaimed the champion. Grayson, the tiny champion. So after the wrestling match, everybody's standing around eating, talking, and this Poconos place has every kind of a wide variety of fried foods that they serve the gang, along with cold cuts, sodas, and so forth. And Jenny is trying to get Angelina to react to Vinny's jab so that she doesn't lose the bet. Angelina remains tight, and she doesn't react to Vinny, and she ends up winning, so that she now has an opportunity to throw Jenny into the pool with her clothes on. So they go back to their rooms. Pauly and Nikki try to rush into their rooms before Angelina can catch them, because Angelina is drunk and she wants to drink some more. Pauly says he doesn't want to be bothered with that this night. And so they get in their room, lock the doors, and Angelina is outside trying to get in because she wants Nikki to come out and be her drinking partner. Next we see Ronnie finally gets to have his girlfriend Sapphire join him and meet the gang. So Sapphire comes, he's really thrilled to see her, and she says she is really nervous to meet the Jersey Shore group. With Sapphire here, Vinny is now single and alone again. He was abandoned by Pauly for Nikki, and now he was abandoned by Ronnie for Sapphire. And Vinny says, who's going to be in the bed next to him? He doesn't have anybody. So then Vinny, feeling alone, slightly sad.
Do you have breakfast? First Pauly's leaving me for a girl. Bro, you're really gonna leave me all by myself? Have a good night. What about the last 10 years? Now Ronnie's leaving me for a girl?
He starts singing,
Yeah. Whatever happened to Guy Code? All by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself.
But Vinny then hears a knock at the door, and he finds out his new roommate will be his Uncle Nino, who comes in dressed all in white. He has a white suit, white shirt, and I believe he has a white cane, and he has like silver decorations on the lapels of his jacket. So he's quite a sight, and he comes in babbling, and Vinny is like, oh no. Then Vinny tells his Uncle Nino, this is not what I meant when I said I didn't want to be alone. He says to his Uncle Nino, hey, there are a bunch of rooms here. Go get a room to yourself. He would rather be alone. And then Vinny says, I gotta get a girlfriend. And come to think of it, I have never seen Vinny with a girlfriend. So that would be really interesting. Ronnie and Mike are complaining that their bodies ache after the wrestling match, and they just need to rest and let their bodies calm down and recover. Then we see the next morning, everybody's getting up. You see a shot of Angelina and Chris, and every time I see Angelina in bed with her husband, she always has her back towards him, and she's curled up in like a fetal position. So it's very unusual. And then we see Vinny and his Uncle Nino, and he is still wearing, it looks like his shoes, his white suit and everything, and he says he didn't change, he slept in the whole outfit, and Vinny calls him Liberace. Vinny says it's too much, waking up next to his Uncle Nino, and Uncle Nino says, yes, that was Uncle Nino saying he found pubic hair on the kitchen dining counter. That's some way to wake up in the morning. So Vinny goes back to his room, packs Uncle Nino's suitcase, leaves his swimming trunks on his bed while Uncle Nino is showering, and goes down to the lobby to get Uncle Nino a different room, as far away from Vinny's room as possible. Vinny feels he has taken all of Uncle Nino's clothes out of the room and given them to the desk clerk in the lobby, and so that now when Uncle Nino comes out of the shower, he won't have any clothes to change into except for his swimming trunks, and Vinny does not want Uncle Nino to come to the Jersey Shore breakfast that's being held where everybody's going to be. So he feels that if Uncle Nino is stuck in his swimming shorts, he won't have to listen to Uncle Nino during the breakfast. One of the worst parts is that to get from Vinny's room, Uncle Nino has to go outside. It's cold, it's snowing. He has to catch a shuttle bus to get to the desk clerk's reception center. Well, that seems pretty impossible for a senior citizen like Uncle Nino, so I'm sure the desk clerk will bring his clothes to the room and then take him to his new room. But that is a pretty mean trick for Uncle Nino, and we see him walking through the corridors, searching for Vinny, searching for the rest of the Jersey Shore gang, and wondering where are his clothes and what's he going to do with just his swimming trunks on. So the Jersey Shore gang meets up at a huge brunch, and they have everything. They have wine, beer, lots of breakfast food, salad. It's just a lot of food. These people are going to be huge in size in the future. Ronnie's girlfriend, Sapphire, comes in, meets everybody. They refer to her as Safa, and in the alternative, they call her Safa Bear. She's kissing everybody as she meets them, and she says she's nervous, but she seems to do well, and she is particularly interested in Angelina, and I think she's kind of skeptical of Angelina by the look on her face when she sees the interaction between Angelina and Vinny. They're back to joking with each other and hitting each other and so forth as they were before the bet between Angelina and Jenny. Now that Angelina has won the bet, Angelina has reverted back to her old ways with reacting to Vinny's teasing, and unfortunately at this brunch, Angelina's husband is between Vinny and Angelina, so he has to be very tolerant in being between these two. It's kind of like being between two kids, and so eventually he has Angelina quiet down, and so he can enjoy his breakfast with some peace. Poor guy. Angelina's Chris is going to have to do something more to correct the behavior between these two, or he's going to end up with an ulcer. So he stopped Angelina as Vinny was trying to put a sausage in Angelina's mouth. Quite improper to do to the wife of someone else, especially since Vinny and Chris didn't really know each other until very recently. Now it's time to head to the pool so Angelina can get to push Jenny in the pool as per their bet. After Chris stops Angelina's bad behavior, Dina says, well, let's get to meet Sasha. And she says, how? She asks, how did Sasha and Ronnie meet? And she says, well, they were in Miami and they were at a restaurant, and Ronnie just sat down at their table, and she was wondering why he sat down there because this was a girls' event. Safa says Ronnie didn't have a pickup line after he sat down, but it was nice that they met at a dinner. She says even though he was lap dancing on her friend.
What was his pickup line?
There was no pickup line.
What? Hi, I'm Ronnie. I like you now.
It's pretty cool because a lot of people meet through social media and stuff, so like we met at dinner. It's kind of a cute story.
Yeah.
Even though he was lap dancing on top of my friend. Oh.
So Dina asks, well, why did they call you Safa Bear? And Safa says,
did anybody ask you why they call you Safa Bear? In high school, someone was like, oh my god, you have the smallest nose ever. It's like a bear. And I was just like, they were like, Safa Bear. And everyone in school would call me Safa Bear. I don't know why.
As everybody's meeting Safa, Vinny becomes annoyed because, of course, he is not the center of attention. His antics with Angelina have been curtailed by Chris. So he puts a napkin over his head and hides his face as Safa is talking. And he begins to say that he's the only single person at the table.
I'm the only single person at this table.
With Vinny sitting with this large napkin over his head and face, everyone starts laughing, and again that starts the antics between Vinny and Angelina, and he's eating ice cream and keeps bugging Angelina with sexual innuendos. Angelina, of course, reacts, and Chris, poor guy, is sitting in the middle, and he says something to Angelina as if to, say stop it. And it's really hard on him because Angelina says outwardly to Chris that she wants him to defend her, but yet when she goes out, she gets fully involved in all these antics, and of course he is there with the Jersey Shore gang because of Angelina, and this is part of her character. This is what she does. So she puts herself in these situations, and then when she's offended, she wants Chris to defend her, but it's kind of a impossible choice for poor Chris, and over time we'll see how this works out, how long he can tolerate all of this, or until maybe Vinny can possibly find somebody who will love him and want to sit all day watching his antics. In the meantime, Uncle Nino calls Vinny and says, "Where are my clothes?" Vinny basically says, "I can't hear you," and hangs up on him. And then Uncle Nino insists he needs a room and some clothes. And the next time we see Uncle Nino, he is in the spa in his swimming trunks with a glass of wine. The gang comes and meets Uncle Nino there in the pool area. Now it's time to pay off the bet, and it's time for Angelina to push Jenny into the pool. Jenny says, "I don't think she's really going to do it," but we all know Angelina is going to do it. After all, Angelina and JWoww have been going at it for 11 years. The gang is pumped up, and they say, so Jenny stands like a sacrificial lamb with her arms outstretched to the sides and her back toward the pool, allowing Angelina to push her in. Angelina gives several false pushes in order to increase the tension, and then she gives Jenny the push and pushes her into the pool. There is applause by the gang, and the deed is done. Still wet, Uncle Nino comes over, offers Jenny a glass of wine. Jenny takes the wine, she's laughing, and she gets into the jacuzzi with Uncle Nino, and they hug, and they're laughing. The next scene we see is Dina's husband, Chris, and he's talking about how in the past he's always been giving the guys haircuts. He says, but they want haircuts every 2 or 3 days, and he's getting tired of it. So he's been doing a lot of hair cutting, and now he's giving up that duty, and he's allowing them to bring in another person to cut their hair. The new guy comes in with fancy shears, a ring light, and everybody is oohing and aahing, trying to make Chris jealous about the new guy coming in to cut the gang's hair.
Figure you got the downtime, you can line us up. They don't even need haircuts. They get haircuts every 2 days. Appreciate you for doing this, Chris. I cut the hair. I don't even think I cut any hair on my set. I was just baking it. Damn, that was quick. Good job. Done. Retired. Lose my number. So I was able to call James, the barber from Freehold. He's gonna come. That's what's up. Thanks, man. You're a good barber. You called another barber for us. You do it all. Vinny will pay him, and then yeah, we'll get cut. Bob is here. What's up, bro? Bob is here. Damn, Chris feels jealous already. This setup's real official. Damn, he has a surge protector. Chris doesn't have a surge protector. We're getting cut at risk. We got a ring light. Look at that. Yo, he got the gold-plated clipper. Wow. Wow, look at that. I'm gonna wear that on my chain.
Jenny says she didn't really have a chance to meet Sapphire because of all the other stuff that was going on, and now she wants to arrange a little meeting where the girls can sit down, eat, and talk just among themselves without their significant others, because she wants to see the real Sapphire without Ronnie around. So the girls are off to an all-girls lunch with Sapphire, and next we see a scene with the guys, and the guys say they liked meeting Sapphire. They thought she was a good fit for the group, and Ronnie's happy because they are saying such nice things about his girlfriend. And that's pretty much the end of this episode. And in the next episode, they show that Mike might be teaching the kids to ice skate. Well, we'll see.